So final score at Meadow Park, Arsenal 1, London City Lionesses 0 in the FA Cup 4th round. Arsenal are through to the FA Cup 5th round. I believe the draw's being made on Monday evening, and kind of one of those odd games you get sometimes against teams from lower divisions who I recall a few years ago when Arsenal got to the final in 2018. They played Millwall and Charlton at home, en route to the final, won both of those 1-0. They played Lewis here 2 years ago and won 2-0 with 2 second-half goals. And it was one of those games, really, where London City Lionesses, who have a very stingy defence, don't concede many goals, really sat in. Arsenal eventually got the breakthrough just before half-time through Vivianne Miedema. And after that, Arsenal controlled the game, really. London City Lionesses didn't manage a shot today, on target or off target, so Arsenal were comfortable with 1-0, but obviously emotionally you're never totally comfortable with 1-0, and Arsenal didn't create an awful lot of clear-cut chances, but LCL just had so many defenders in the box, lots of cleared crosses, lots of block shots. Just spoke to unavailable, who said he was happy with the way Arsenal controlled the game today. He admitted that it wasn't their most exciting or a fluent attacking performance, which it wasn't really, but he spoke about how he was pleased with his players keeping the game under control, not making it contentious, kind of doing all of the fundamentals and the basics well and making sure that they got through it. Quite a skeleton squad available today. There were quite a few players unavailable, so Leah Volti was rested. She's been carrying a bit of a knock, so they didn't risk her. Leah Williamson was rested because she's been coming back from a hamstring injury. They didn't want to rest her. I believe Hafayeli and Tobin Heath both ill, so they were out. Fran Stenson, Jen Beattie, and who's the other player that was out? That's it, Stinner Blackstenius. They were all out with illness as well. Jonas seems quite positive that all of those players will be back for the game against Manchester United on Saturday, but it meant that Arsenal had to kind of go with, I guess, a little bit of a patched up lineup. Some players I think Jonas would like to have rested, ideally, but couldn't because of the number of players available. He said that he'd like to have put more academy players into the team. There were plenty on the bench today, but he spoke about how the problem with doing that is sometimes when you introduce players into the team who don't play together very often, he said sometimes you have to run more when you do that because the understanding's not as good. So he wanted to keep the team as it was because the understanding's strong, and he felt like that was the best way physically to manage the game, to have a much more familiar team. Vivianne Miedema scored the winner, of course, in the first half, and she had to go off with about half an hour to go because she had a migraine. You might remember that on Thursday against Brighton, she kind of went down and she didn't receive treatment. She just took a tablet. Same deal today during the first half. Went down, physios came on, took a tablet. You might have seen Jen Beattie's Instagram post where Jen said that Viv couldn't remember who scored the goal in the first half, and it was her, obviously. So, and Arsenal lost a little bit of fluency, as you might expect, when Viv went off anyway. They moved Nikita Paris up front, which isn't something Arsenal have done before, and you could tell they lost that focal point a little bit, particularly because Nikita's a player who likes to run in behind, and there was no space in behind. LCL had 8-9 players in their penalty area at all times, but overall, not an exciting or memorable victory, but a comfortable one, and Arsenal are in the hat for the 5th round draw, and they've got massive games coming up this Saturday lunchtime at home to Manchester United, and then Friday the 11th of February they're away at Chelsea, and those two games you feel will be really defining in the title race.